Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, hold on. It is not recording.
At least you realize now.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of because I'm sure we're just gonna talk about NFL free agency the whole damn time. I
I'm
mean, not
trying.
like much else is going on anyway.
Yeah. Hold on. All right. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We are. All right. Here we go. Now it's recording.
Oh,
No,
you
no.
Bruce Buffer over here.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, oh,
Hold on. Let me
glad I
just
got that
make
one
sure.
out.
Say something.
Hello,
All right.
we good?
Yep. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We are once again live down here in the Bear Cave Studios for another episode of the Sports Frenzy podcast, The Frenzy. With me, your host, Freddie Oso, with my co-host, Joey the Eagle. What's going on, Joe?
I don't know if it's because it's been a while, but I feel like you're a lot closer.
It's
Like you
been a while.
feeling yourself? You feeling the
It's
you
been a
feeling the
while,
scruff?
man.
Is that it?
It's quarantine, 2020. Finally getting to see some people that aren't in my house, so
It's nice. It's a needed break.
yeah, it's good
I
things,
am. You know I can't let you get away. But you know I can't let you get away with this, right? You being hella Spanish right now. You got a Christmas shirt on.
I do. I got a Christmas shirt on. I got my Chewbacca Christmas shirt on. I don't know what season.
March.
I don't know what season it
In
is, what day it
March.
is, what hour it is. I don't know.
Okay. It's okay. I forgive you because my mom's still got the Christmas decorations in the backyard, and she acts like they light up the deck, and it's supposed to be a year-round thing, but that's not really what they're supposed
That's
to
not
be
what
for.
it's really there for, right? Got you.
You would think if she threw up like just the white ones, maybe you could pass it off, but not when you got the colored ones. That's just wrong.
That just screams Christmas right there.
Bro, my neighbor still has his snowman out, and he like lights it up at night still.
Tis the season,
I
man.
just
Tis the season.
Yeah, okay, right.
But we are finally back. This is our first episode since January. It's been a crazy
It's been that
season.
long.
It's been that long. January 21st was our last episode. We're sorry for leaving you guys without much content. We've been doing I've been doing a lot of the wrestling shows, but we are back. Quarantine special. I know you're all feeling it as much as we are. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, don't touch shit, stay quarantined.
As I'm touching my face,
Yeah,
as you say that.
as you're touching your face. But we will bring you a happy diversion. We got some sports talk here for you guys. It's been a long break, so we got a lot to cover. But what do you got, Joe?
Bro, you know what it is. 7 days a week, 365. It's NFL free agency.
That's the biggest thing
That's what
going
it's
on
been
right
about.
now.
That's the only thing going on right now, brother. Unless you want to watch, like I said, they got a rebroadcast of WrestleMania 30 on. I've
Yeah.
watched I've watched the '92 Olympics Dream Team all the way through, win the gold. What else did I read? Oh, I rewatched Kevin Durant play Kansas when he was obviously on Texas, and you forget some of the players that are on some of these teams, like
Yeah.
DJ Augustine was running around with him, Abrams, who I don't even think he ever made it to the league, but I remember watching him back in the day, and I just wonder where he is now.
Yeah.
Well, Abrams, if you out there, I hope you're doing good, my man.
I think
He's a walking bucket.
today, this morning, I watched the replay of the Super Bowl that they gave on NFL Network.
Ugh, I know why you watched that.
I rewatched the Super Bowl of the Broncos and the Seahawks, that mauling in New
Why
York
did you do
City.
that? Bro, let me tell you something. That was the hardest hitting Super Bowl I've ever seen.
They took it to Peyton Manning. Something serious.
All the wide receivers, nobody wanted that smoke. They were not trying to go
Yeah.
over the middle. You saw a whole bunch of these alligator arms. Ball would come and they'd go, nope, just
Not-
kidding. Cam
not for
Chancellor's
me.
there.
Not for me. But let's jump into it. UFC, we had an event in Brazil that went down. Empty arena, completely done. Kevin Lee got submitted. Not a whole lot to talk to from that card. UFC said they were going to continue on doing events, but then got shut down.
Psych. Now, listen, I get why the UFC would do that, right? I mean, this was the perfect time. If you
Right.
can actually get your sport to be approved, man, you got the whole world flocking to
Everybody,
see your event.
everybody's watching.
So, because when he first said it, I was like, bro, who are you kidding? Like, you're never, this is never gonna work out.
Hmm.
But then I thought about it. I said, why not? Give it a shot. They say no, they say no.
Yeah. Now, the one that is still on, everything else has been canceled until March 18th or April 18th. That is Khabib Ferguson. Dana White has said that this fight is not getting canceled. No matter what, it is happening. I don't know how likely it
Okay.
is, but if it does get canceled, it'll be like the fifth time that these two are set to fight and it gets canceled. First, well, the first couple times have been injuries on opposite ends, and then this time would be due to the virus. But fingers crossed, April 18th, Ferguson Khabib for the title. Who you got in that one?
I mean, right off the rip, I want to say Khabib just because of the way he just dismantles people. He gets his hands on these poor. I'm gonna call them children because that's what they look like when he grabs them, and he just puts them on the floor and just mauls them. It's for a guy that's not physically intimidating, bro. When he gets his hands on people, I am shooketh. I feel bad for them, and I know something serious is about to happen. But at the same token, Tony Ferguson's one hell of a fighter, and his tank don't run empty. He keeps going and going and going. So I could see him putting up a good fight, and if it goes, the longer it goes, the more comfortable I feel with Tony Ferguson maybe being able to pull it out.
Right.
But going into it, I'm just gonna have to ride with Khabib, man. Everyone from that part of the world is just a straight up assassin.
Those
So
Dagestanians are monsters, man.
yeah, bro, that's it. If it says that on your birth certificate, you got it, bro. I don't want nothing to do with you.
I'm gonna go with Ferguson just because I think if there's one guy that's gonna be able to do it, it's gonna be him. But I'm
Yeah, like I said,
fingers crossed it does actually happen, but we will see. We also have, well, as everyone knows, everything is on quarantine. Everything's on lockdown. Nothing. Baseball
wait, but
online.
we did get a Joanna selfie, and now her
Yes.
face kind of looks normal again. I mean, she got these bruises up under her eyes that make it seem like she hasn't slept in about 2 months. But I wasn't sure if she'd ever look like a human again. So,
Yes. The way she looked like she was from
and
Star
now
Trek.
it was bad, bro. And now that we're talking about the UFC, you've got her club. I don't know her club right off the top of my head. I just read the article, but the guy I guess who runs that set of fighters was saying that this trash talking is kind of getting to a new level, and that he's no longer going to be supporting it. So if you fight out of his club, you're going to shut the fuck up unless you have a fight already on the docket. If you don't and you start running your mouth, you're not training here. Because Khabib was going at Masvidal, and then he had some not so nice words to say to Joanna, and I don't know. I hate him. I was so happy he got his jaw cracked last fight, and he's still talking.
He's
Like
still
I don't
talking.
get it, bro. Yeah, like he got killed that fight and still wanted to act like there was like, bro,
Like he got
that's
cheated.
it. Just
Yeah. Kobe
yeah,
is
take your L.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't
I
understand
can't
it.
I cannot I can't stand that man. Listen, I get it because from what I've read and from interviews that I've seen from other people, they say that that's all like a facade. That's all just so he can get his bag. And I'm not against anybody making money, bro, but I'm not selling out for no money. I don't care what you tell me because he's still got to live with that. You know, when he
Yep.
retires, people are going to know him for coming off as basically a racist asshole.
100%.
And you could keep the money, bro. I'm not selling out like
Yeah.
that.
It's true,
I mean,
man.
there's a certain I get promoting a fight like if someone's quiet and they put on a facade like they're a tough guy just to promote the fight, I could rock with that.
Hmm.
You know, no problem. I get it, bro. You're trying to drum up interest in the fight, but he crosses a whole bunch of lines, and he's the type of person that expects to talk about you, your family, your mother, and then after the fight, be like, I didn't mean any of that though, dude. It was just for promotion.
It was
Nope,
promotion.
cross
Like,
that
nah,
line.
yeah, you can't do that. Yep. I 100% agree with you.
So every
Wholeheartedly.
time he fights, I'm all for seeing him get his ass kicked every
Yep.
single time.
Yep. 100%. Now, whether it's Masvidal that does it, whether it's Woodley that does it next, whoever it is, I can't wait to see him catch that L
I
again.
can't because he was talking real crazy about Masvidal, and we know,
And they
Masvidal is
used
one
to
of those guys.
they used to be
They
teammates
used to
and
train.
roommates. On
Yeah, they
top of
used to
that,
be real close, man.
that's some disrespectful
And
shit right there.
to me, that's what makes it more personal. If it's somebody, you know how it is, bro. Like if it's somebody you don't know talking crap, yeah, you're not gonna like it, and you're gonna want to fight them for it, and in that sport you get an opportunity for to hash it out.
Hmm.
But you're my boy, and you switched up like that just for money, and now we can't be friends. Now
Yeah,
that's gonna be you want to
it's
talk about a fight? Like I know Askren. I know he did not like Askren, bro.
yeah,
You times that by a million
yeah.
if
Like
he
he
meets
like
into the
he
ring with
said,
Kobe
it's on site
on
when he
site.
sees him on
This
site.
is this is gonna be one of those fights. You know how like before the fight they stand up, do that little picture.
Yeah.
That can't happen. That
Nope.
will not happen this fight
You're
because
gonna need
Masvidal will slap
six
the
or
shit out
seven
of him.
dudes. Forget social distancing at that point. You need 8 dudes in
Listen,
between there blocking that shit up.
he if Kobe does have the virus, Masvidal gonna slap the corona out of him. He's just gonna slap. They
Straight out.
they call him the Cuban Jesus, and he's gonna baptize him.
For real, man. Now, baseball on lock. Everything is shut down. Um, they're hoping to get the season on sometime in June, maybe late May. God only knows when this is going to settle itself out, flatten the curve, and everybody kind of get back to normal.
So I have a question for you, right? Especially with baseball, because I'm fair. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fair weather baseball fan at best. All right,
Hmm.
unless I'm there live, I'm not sitting my ass down for a 4.5 hour escapade. I just don't have the. I don't know. Maybe it's the AD. I can't sit there. Sorry, but from what I've seen with baseball players, they're very much about their routine. You see it a
Right.
lot with pitchers, right?
Hmm.
They even if they pitch a day earlier than they're supposed to, a lot of them can't do it for whatever reason, and they get shellacked.
Right.
So my worry is you keep pushing this season back, and these players, they're used to starting their regimen at a certain time, being into a certain part of the season, their body feeling a certain way. I'm very curious to see once this baseball season kicks kicks off eventually, hopefully it does, how the players perform because I think it's going to be a rude awakening. Like I said, especially with pitchers when
Yeah.
they need all those starts under their belt and the preseason to get those arms warm. I would hate to see a whole bunch of shoulder injuries right off the bat. It would
Yeah.
suck.
100%. The ones that are loving this right now, I'm being sarcastic, but the Astros not having to deal with this. This is kind of pushing their controversy off to the side, like they're kind of flying under the radar. Once the season ramps up again, though, it's all fair game again.
You know who's really enjoying this? The Yankees, because they have a whole bunch of injuries
Yep.
that they were dealing with, and now I just read a report the other day that Judge looks to be ready now for the opening. I mean, I'm sorry, I think it was Stanton. My apologies, Judge.
All
I don't
all
know.
three,
I know
all three
all three of
will
them.
will be ready for opening day.
See, so that's a big thing.
Yep.
We were looking at a Yankee team that was going to start the season with basically all of their outfield out between Hicks, Judge, and Stanton,
Yeah.
and now to have all three of them back is going to be big for them.
Yeah. Big time. Now NBA, we had uh, Kevin Durant, Rudy
I miss
Gobert,
it dearly.
Smart, uh, the other guy from the Nets. I forget his name.
Bro, it's half the league.
Yeah.
There's two players on the Lakers. I mean, again, I don't want to get too much down this rabbit hole with the whole virus because by now everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
But I do feel that while the NBA is getting a lot of I don't want to say publicity, but a lot of the players on the NBA are testing positive, or their test results are coming out. I feel like in every sport, it's just as bad. There just hasn't been as many confirmed yet in these other sports because there's no way it's just, you've seen what it's doing to the population, the world population.
Hmm.
There's no way that there's not a lot of NFL players that have it. It's just
I mean,
as we know.
European soccer, it's everywhere.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I would
everywhere, you
imagine.
got
So
big names getting it out there. Like we just hope everybody gets better and lives can start to come back to quote unquote normal, because shit's gonna change once everything comes back. But how if you're the NBA and you come back, say May, you know, late April, mid May. How do you do it? Because you still have some regular season games you're going to have to do. These players are going to have to ramp themselves back up again. How do you do it to bring the playoffs in? Do you even do seeding at this point? Do you let how would you go about setting up the playoffs for the NBA?
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't really and I'll use LeBron as an example. I don't have an issue or a worry of how LeBron's gonna feel once the season kicks off, because that's the type of guy. I mean, the guy has undoubtedly has a court in his basement. I wouldn't be surprised if it's full court, half court, whatever. He's got a court. He's
Right.
got the proper equipment, and you see how driven of an athlete he is. I feel like he'll come back and still be peak peak performance of LeBron, ready to go.
Right.
But there's a big majority of the league that does not have that drive. Does not, and I'm not. That's not me knocking them, because who am I to say, I've got all this money now, all this free time. I'm hanging out with the family. Do I really want to sit there and train? Like, I don't know when the season's gonna kick back off. So if I'm the NBA, I'm kind of scared that we're gonna, again, just like baseball, it's a tricky thing. I don't want these injuries to start popping up out of nowhere.
Right.
And you also got to look at it. These athletes might be really healthy going to playoffs with this kind of break in
Hmm.
between, but I do think there's a rust factor that's gonna be serious.
Hmm.
You can go and train as hard as you want, but there is no such thing as real life. You can't replicate the real live action. You can't replicate the way your body reacts to that, the way the adrenaline pumps. You're in a game that's in the NBA Finals, and that adrenaline's up real high. I don't care what type of shape you're in, bro. You get tired faster.
Yeah.
It's a fact. I've obviously never played at a level like that, but even in big games that I've played in, it happens. You're in the first quarter and you're like, what the hell? And you got to wait till that second wind comes back.
Right.
I do think that if it does get pushed back, it'll be a good time to see what it's like to have the NBA finals kind of run more into the summer, which is something that I wouldn't be opposed to. I would
Right.
actually like if they push the season back, because the summer can be a bit slow. I'm a loser, so I watch all of the summer runs, whether it's the Chino Hills runs, whether it's the TBT tournament, Drew League, all the pro-ams, and the summer league. So basketball, I still watch it in the summer, but for the everyday common fan, it might be good for them to have basketball extended to the summer.
Right. Now, our bread and butter, what we love, what we can't get enough
I
of.
mean, at this point, bro, at this point, it ain't even bread and butter. It's dinner, it's dessert, it's
It's everything we got.
it's it's everything. Yeah, it's the five-course meal.
Now, free agency popped off in a big way, firing on all cylinders. We had trades, we had free agent signings, we had the GOAT relocating. We
Yes, we
have
did.
everything, franchise tags, all that stuff. So let's jump into it. Two of the big trades that happened on day one were Deshaun Hopkins, sorry, DeAndre Hopkins
There
getting
we go.
traded.
You combine them.
I did. I
It's
just put
okay,
them
man.
together. They were one
Keep it moving.
team. They were one of the best duos. But DeAndre Hopkins getting traded from the Texans to the Cardinals for David Johnson and a fourth. They exchanged fourths. And then you had the Bills trading for my boy Stephon Diggs now.
Stephania Diggs.
Stephon Diggs. You dig?
What?
So what do you think, what do you make of those two trades?
So if I'm the Bills, and I'll do the Bills side first because you
Thank
are a
you.
Bills
I
fan. So
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I would put the Bills first. If I'm a Bills fan, or if I'm a Bills player, you have been waiting 20 years for this man Tom Brady to get the hell out of the way.
Yep.
And he did. And he's gone. And if you look at what the Bills have been able to build, wow, say that 5 times
There
fast.
you go. I like that. There we go.
They have they have they have a great defense, top 5 defense
Mm-hmm.
for sure in the league. They're only going to get better because they had a lot of players coming off of injury this year,
Right.
and a lot of their key players on the defensive end of the ball are younger, a la Tre'Davious White. The other day I was thinking, could you imagine if they kept Gilmore? But we're not going to go there
We won't go.
because then that would be, could you imagine them two on the outside, bro? Lock City.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. So if I'm the Bills, you have to be all in and all in now. And for some people, they're like, well, we gotta wait to see what Josh Allen is. But I'd rather be all in, and then if I fail, it's because I don't want to fail because I didn't give the opportunity for Josh Allen to be the best player that he can be.
Right.
You also have to take advantage, just like the Eagles did, just like the Seahawks did. You have the best controllable asset on your team on a rookie contract. That is the quarterback. So whenever you have a rookie quarterback and you're able to build a monster defense like they have, you are able to then go and splurge a little on other positions.
Right.
A la the Stephon Diggs trade. Now, the only thing that messes this up is the D-Hop trade because they got host for him. But if you take that trade out of it and you look that they have he's what would you put him, top 10, top 8 wide receiver? He's up there.
Yeah, we'll put him top 8.
I'll put him top 8. He's up there. He's a great route runner. He's
Right.
everything you could want in a wide receiver. And I really think with him on one side, John Brown on the other, and you got Beasley running in between routes, you're giving everything Josh Allen would need to be successful.
Right.
He has at the palm of his hands right now.
He can take the top off.
So
He can, get you burned on the routes and the underneath. I feel like we're going to get Beasley back to what he was early on in Dallas when he was getting the ball. I think
even
he's
last
going
year,
to
he
come
had a
back.
decent year.
Yeah, he had a decent year last year.
And I'm always of the opinion that, yeah, it sucks to give up draft picks,
Right.
but it's and the first round pick, let's face it, first round pick hurts. I will say that it's interesting to me that they decided to do that trade specifically this year because of how deep the draft is at wide receiver. You have what they're saying is 15 wide receivers that can legitimately be wide receiver ones. However, there's no say that you end up with that wide receiver.
Right.
So you have to wait and see what the other team gets with these picks. If they turn around, I mean, people made a huge deal about us trading a boatload of picks to the Browns to move up and get Carson Wentz. Name a player that they got from it.
Yeah, it's true.
Nobody's. So while every fan loves the idea, and I'm included, I love me some draft picks, bro, but it's still the factor of the unknown. If I'm a team in win now mode, you can have that unknown and give me the solidified asset, which is Stephon Diggs. So they gave up a lot, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's right place, right time, and you just got to make that move. And I think it could pay off big for them. And I would hate to see it, but I think they could win the division.
I think it's our time to win the division. I'm just hoping we can stay out of our own way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no excuse for them this year.
Yeah.
There really isn't. I mean, they have everything on offense they would need. Their defense is coming back. I love what Sean McDermott's building there. I think they're going to do well in the draft, even though they don't have their one and they're limited on their picks. You might see them trade back. I know you're not going to like to see it at first, but maybe they trade back, recoup some of those picks. So, again, I think it was a good trade for them. and we segue that into the I can't even call it a trade. I mean, I don't understand what that Arizona Houston Texans. That's not a trade. That's that's just being stupid. You know, you traded for a player that people were saying you would have to sweeten the deal for someone to take his contract.
Yeah.
In other words, you would have to give them David Johnson and a premium draft pick just for them to take him.
And
And you gave them.
but you had two star running backs anyways. To get a
Listen,
player who's coming off injury, who's got a ridiculous contract, who hasn't been the same player that he was 2.5 years ago when he blew up in the league under a different head coach, and now what are you doing?
bro, if I'm a GM, I literally would take the Houston Texans roster, the whole roster, just put it in front of me, and just start highlighting people that I'm a fan of that I would like on my team, and then just calling him and offering stuff.
See
You
what
know, like
sticks
yo,
at this point.
I'll give you my ball boy, seventh round pick, and a new set of cleats if you give me Deshaun, and he might bite
Hey, who
because
knows? The Steelers might be coming trying to call and get J.J. Watt to go play with his two other brothers that are now in Pittsburgh.
I couldn't, man. When I tell you I couldn't believe it, bro, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how do you do that, DeAndre Hopkins? And then it's funny because there's always people that want to be devil's advocate in the media, and they want to paint it as, oh well, I could kind of see his point of view. He's trying to set a presidency. No, I don't care. Okay, so you don't like one of the top three wide receivers in the
Yeah,
league because
top
they
three.
try to.
Yep.
Some people try to spin it like, oh, he had a down year. Relax, bro. Okay, the year before that he had zero passes dropped. This year he dropped a few.
He
He had
dropped
a
three.
normal year.
He dropped
Yeah,
three fucking passes the whole year, which is
he had a
ridiculous.
he had a he had a normal year.
Yeah,
He had a great year for any other receiver not named Michael Thomas.
right.
So I just he's so good, and you gave him away for nothing. If you don't like a player, that's fine, but ship him off and get value back in return.
You got nothing back for him. You got a fourth and an
I
aging
saw
running back who now you got to give up probably Duke Johnson, who was one of your best two running backs, basic from, you know, the U as
the
you see it
you.
in the back. But like, what are you going to do now? You got to get rid of one
My,
of. You can't keep all three.
no, listen. Here's my favorite part of all this, right? He's people were trying to justify it, saying he wanted a new contract. Okay, cool. I get it. You don't want to pay him. Fine. But you took on David Johnson's contract and then signed Randall Cobb. No disrespect to Randall Cobb, but he's done nothing for like 3 years. He had that
I didn't even know Randall Cobb was still in the league.
dude. He had a good year with that bad man Aaron Rodgers, and parlayed that into some good money. My point being, if you couple what Canada's about to back out of the Olympics as a side note, I'm assuming because of the virus, but besides the point. If you take what they're paying David Johnson and what they're paying Cobb, it's only like a million. It's like $1 million difference between what they would have had to pay DeAndre Hopkins. So
It's
you can't even
ridiculous.
bring money into the equation.
And Randall Cobb's a number three at best right now. He's not what he was when he was with Rodgers. He's a three,
I,
maybe a slot guy at best.
I think he's lower than that. I don't even think I want him starting in my slot. And again, no disrespect to him, he seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
But like, if he's my starting slot option in the offseason, I'm looking to up that, especially in a draft like the ones coming up. So,
Yeah,
man, those
crazy.
two trades could. What you saw is what you saw is why 99.9% of the league has a coach and a GM.
Yeah.
That way they can kind of vibe off each other. If they had a GM in Houston, there's no way in hell they would have Bill, like Linda, chill. I guess you don't.
Listen, B.
I guess you don't like him, but let me handle that. I'll get him out of town. You just let me work, because he let his emotions get the best of him, and the only guy that's been able to do the two and and not really mess up. I mean, especially when you hear the news coming out that he did it on purpose with Bill Belichick, because you can only say that he let Jimmy G go for cheap, but then you got those stories coming out that he did it on purpose because he wanted to show everybody, listen, man, I knew what I was doing, so I'm gonna send him to a place where I know the guy Shanahan. He's a good guy. He's a good offensive coach.
And he's gonna take care
I'm
of
gonna send
him.
him somewhere
Yeah.
to show. Yeah, I'm gonna send him somewhere where he could show you that he was a franchise quarterback.
Now,
He's got to go. Bill O'Brien has got to go, bro. And then you hear, you know, if I'm Deshaun Watson, bro, I'm looking at him like,
why would you
what do
stay
you
at that
do?
point? Why would you stay? Get the
I'm
fuck
out.
out. I'm out.
And I guess
Deuces.
that's why he's betting odds to be the Patriots quarterback.
God, you imagine him with Belichick?
All I'm saying is, Fred, it would be some cruel punishment to your division in the Bills if he's
It'd be another 15 years where we don't win the division.
oh easy,
I'll tell you
bro,
that right now. No
easy.
matter how good Josh Allen can be, Bill Belichick with Deshaun Watson, fuck,
Mm, mm, mm.
it'd be disrespectful.
Listen, I know it's your team, but I'm not opposed to it. I would like to see what type of stuff he draws up for that man. It'd be nice.
And then your boys made a trade.
We did. We did.
Finally got a cornerback.
Big
But
play Slay, baby.
you had to let your big boy go in the secondary as well, Malcolm Jenkins.
Oof. Don't do that to me. It hurt. Let me tell you something. All right, Malcolm Jenkins. I love that man. Every time he played, you know what's great about him too is he was definitely our best player in the secondary, but that's like selling him short. He was the blood, sweat, and tears of that team. Like he rallied everyone together. He played so hard, and he was obviously a great player. He could do a multitude of things. He was playing in the safety. We'd have to drop him down in the nickel to play the slot. He would play the big tight ends. He would play the dime linebacker and go down in the box sometimes. And then on top of that, he played every special team snap.
Very, very reminiscent of B-Dog.
Listen,
Not to that
I will say
level,
this.
but very reminiscent of him.
He ain't hitting
For you
like
guys.
B-Dog.
No
He
way.
ain't hitting like B-Dog.
Not a lot of guys
but-
can hit like B-Dog.
No. That wasn't meant to be a shot. I was just stating a fact. I felt it sucked losing him. It really did. But here's the thing: our GM, I say our GM, Howie Roseman, came out and listen. He said at the combine, he said our goal is to get younger, and he went on record saying his biggest issue is falling in love with players and not knowing when to let go. And you've seen it. I mean, again, Darren Sproles is going into the Hall of Fame. I think he is. The last 2 years, he's maybe played 5 games, but we kept re-signing him. You know, Jason Peters. There was a lot of fuss about, you know, will he come back? Will we pay him to come back? I love guy, Hall of Fame tackle. Shout out to the Bills for
letting
slinging
him
that
go.
guy through.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, but at this age, he's missing a lot of time. He could still do the job, but that's what you moved up in last year's draft to get Andre Dillon for. Now, the only thing that caught me off guard, and I thought they might make an exception for Malcolm, was the fact that all these other players, we had replacement players already in
Right.
at those positions. We already have Miles Sanders, so we're not really going to need Darren Sproles. We already have Andre Dillon, so we're not going to need Jason Peters. We didn't have at the time, when we didn't re-sign Malcolm Jenkins, we didn't have Rodney McLeod back yet.
Right.
We literally had no safeties. So it's comforting that Rodney McLeod comes back. We re-signed Jalen Mills, who they're saying they're going to play more at safety. I think he's a better safety, or he will be a better safety than he was a corner. I love his intensity, his swagger. He gets ghosted on double moves constantly,
Right.
and he doesn't have that straight line speed like even Ronald Darby when he would get beat deep, which was often. He had the speed to catch up and try to make a play. Mills gets burnt, it's a wrap. The thing that I like about him is that he's a very strong tackler. So you move him to safety, You allow him to not be subjected to just the speed wide receivers and kind of just, okay, know your role, know where you're playing. So I'll be interested to see that where Mills fits into everything. And we have a lot of young players back there. Sidney Jones, they say they're going to trade Rasul Douglas. We'll see what happens there. So I'm excited. It hurt, but again, you got to get younger. You got to turn over the roster, and we got to find some players that can stay healthy because I don't even know some of the players that we were trying out there last year.
Now I'm gonna run down a list of some other moves that happened. We'll talk about it after. You got Nelson Aguilar signed with the Raiders. Manuel Sanders to the Saints. You got Melvin Gordon to the Broncos. Ebron to the Steelers. Todd Gurley, which we'll get into, who got cut and then got picked up, headed back to Georgia.
I got fired on my day off.
On that midnight train to Georgia. Clay Matthews released. Joe Flacco released. Desmond Trufant to the Lions. Nicky Foles, Super Bowl MVP, traded.
My man Nicky.
To the Bears. We got Bruce Irvin back to the Seahawks. Andrew Whitworth signed back to the Rams. Chris Harris to that stunning defense that they got down in L.A. Still with no quarterback. That's secondary. Serious. Eric Reed cut. Gerald McCoy to the Cowboys. Jarrell Casey to the Broncos.
I'm not remembering most of this stuff, so you're gonna have to double back.
I know. I'll double back. Brady, which we'll get into now. Brady to the Bucks. Brian Baluga to the Chargers. Jason Witten to the Raiders. Phillip Rivers on a 1-year deal to the Colts. Vic Beasley to the Titans. Your boy Jordan Howard to Miami.
Damn. First running back signed in free agency.
Corey Littleton to the Raiders. And Teddy Bridgewater to the Panthers. Robert Quinn to the Bears. And Cam Newton on the trading block. He will be on that first train out of Carolina. But let's jump into it. The GOAT, he's gone. Peace out. TB12. Good riddance. We don't got to see you till playoffs or Super Bowl at this point. We won't even see you in the playoffs. So, do you think it's a good move? Do you think he brings Antonio Brown with him, which is a lot of the chatter? He finally has probably the best weapons he's had his whole career in Goodwin, in Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. And the word on the street is a lot of free agents are trying to make their way down to Tampa to play with Tommy.
Yo, Tommy Brady hit the jackpot, kid.
Yeah, man.
First of all, he went to a place with no state income tax.
Nope.
So that 30 gonna look clean.
Yeah.
So I think this is hilarious, right? I think Brady's ultimately gonna get the last laugh here because for a while now they've been trying to pin this as they're winning, but is it Belichick? Is it Brady? I think Brady did the best job he could have to put himself in position to silence all the critics.
Yep.
And put himself in a position to win a Super Bowl faster than Bill Belichick, which will further shut the critics up.
Yeah, it'll solidify him as well, even more than he already.
I mean, he doesn't need any solidification. He's the GOAT for a reason. Right. I just think at this point, it's him chasing himself. I think it's this offense. First of all, he went to a guy in Bruce Arians, who everyone knows is an offensive genius.
No risk it, no biscuit, right? That's what they say.
That's what they say. Now this team had a quarterback in Jameis Winston that threw for over 5,000 yards. I think it was 35 touchdowns. all those interceptions, they're not going to happen with Brady. Those fumbles, they're not going to happen with Brady.
Yeah.
Not to mention, he's got two wide receivers, like you said, in Godwin and Evans. They're the first teammates to make a Pro Bowl together at the same position in I don't know how long. I think it was like 20, 25 years. So he's got two studs on the outside. There's so much untapped potential on that offense because
And
Brady knows how to use his tight ends.
that's what I was going to say.
So
You got a
when
number one, like a
but it's
first
not
round
even,
pick in tight end.
but it's not even just the Howard. He's going to be able to make Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate's a great red zone target. He eats in the red zone.
Yeah.
Brady's going to feature him a lot. And like you said, there's a lot of free agents that are going to try and make their way down to Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, they need an offensive lineman. Specifically, I forgot which tackle position, but it would be the opposite of what Jason Peters normally plays. So I think they need a right tackle. And all of a sudden, Jason Peters people leak that he'd be okay with moving a right tackle if need be. So you could see a time where Jason Peters goes over there and tries to get himself another ring.
Isn't there a team up in Washington looking to get rid of a tackle?
There is. Now,
I'm just saying, there's a team out there waiting.
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to give up the assets that Washington wants and then have to fork over the new contract. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see what they do. I think for Brady, again, I think it was a great move. I don't think they're missing much of anything. They have studs on defense too. The only place I could see on the offensive side of the ball that they would need to shore up is the running game. I know they really didn't average that much. I think they were like 28th, 29th in the league in overall rushing. Ronald Jones had a better second year than he did first year coming out of USC. He was supposed to be one of those highly touted players. So we'll see if they're able to get a running back in there that can help. But I also think having Brady there, just Brady's presence is going to definitely impact the run game because he's going to be able to check in the plays that are going to be more beneficial to that offense.
Right.
So I can't wait to see that Tampa Bay team, bro. That Tampa Bay team going to be cold.
And if I'm not mistaken, they're getting new jerseys this year, right? Aren't they bringing back the creamsicles, if I'm not mistaken?
They're definitely getting new jerseys. I don't think any of the official new jerseys have leaked, but there's been a lot of creamsicle references. I thought it would have been great if they would have just had Brady rock it when they showed the picture of him finally in the Bucs uniform. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they actually released the Tom Brady hype tape. What better hype tape than at the end for him to throw on your new jersey?
Yeah.
It's funny too because they haven't. Bro, they haven't. This is the Tom Brady effect, bro.
Right.
You could go to Tampa Bay game last year for 50 cents, probably get front row seats.
Yeah.
Bro, the moment he signed, or it became allegedly official that he was going to sign, the list for their season tickets in the thousands like that.
Yeah.
His jersey is already the number one jersey bought since he signed on Fanatics, and people don't even know what the jersey's going to look like.
Or what his number's going to be. Well, I got a feeling we're all going to know
but
it's going to be number 12.
Listen. Godwin went on and said if he wants number 12, he can have number. Bro, his whole brand is built off of TB12.
Yeah. You know he's getting that 12.
He's gonna keep the 12. Give him some little money on the side.
He's going to go on a nice vacation
Brady,
he'll go on a nice vacation with the fam. He'll be all right.
Listen, Brady seems like the type of guy. He'll do it. He'll give him the money or whatever exchange they're going to do. Brady could walk in there and be like, listen, young blood, give me that jersey. You want the ball? All right, cool. Throw on the jersey, keep it moving.
Yeah, it's true.
He might just.
I'm going to give you a gift on top of the 12, so I know you're going to get me the ball.
Exactly. And you should pay me to be wearing 12.
Yeah. Now, Cam Newton, Big Cam, on his way out.
I already told you where I think he's going to end up. They got to get rid of him.
They have to. He's not staying there. He's already came out and said that this wasn't his doing. They're forcing him out, so he's got to go.
I never I don't follow him on social media, so that was the first time I ever saw how he posts.
It's ridiculous.
Was it me
Absolutely
or was it
ridiculous.
really? Was that not hard to read?
It's super annoying. It's almost
I,
worth unfollowing him because of how annoying it is.
yeah, I'm like, but yeah, man, he's got to get up out of there. Hopefully, listen, it all the problem with this whole thing, the problem with for the Panthers and being able to trade him, the problem with if they cut him being able to sign with another team is right now you are not able to do a thorough medical check with your doctors.
Right.
And until they can go in there and they can see the shoulder and they can see the foot and they can see all these other nagging injuries he's had, no franchise is going to trade valuable assets for
Right.
him. Now, if I'm a team like the Patriots and I want to just, depending on the price tag they're looking for, if it's a low round pick and it gets close enough to the draft, maybe you go in there and, swing for the fences and see if you can nab him for a mid to late pick. But it'll be interesting. I, as annoying as he can be sometimes with his off the field antics, and he kind of sounds like a crybaby sometimes. When he's healthy and on the field, man, he was fun to watch.
Definitely. That
So
that MVP year that he had when they went to the Super Bowl.
it was stupid.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's the thing, man. I don't care how big you are. You take those hits repeatedly,
Mm-hmm.
and his body broke down really quick. I mean, the best thing, the best way I can see it is it's like the running backs that you're seeing now, whether it's Todd Gurley, whether it's David Johnson, whether it's Le'Veon Bell. I don't care who you are, bro. He was playing like a running back.
Right.
The hits he was taking,
And he,
the
he
fact
took a
that
lot of unprotected shots too.
I was just about to say the refs were treating him as such.
Mm-hmm.
You can be as big as you want, bro. Those hits are gonna take a toll, and unfortunately, his body broke down really fast.
Yeah. Now, I think he should end up with the Chargers. I think that would be great for them. It would help them sell seats in their new arena that they're hopefully set to open up, along with Vegas. Hopefully these work stoppages don't go for too long. And
Well, I mean, they're already talking about the draft, and they're pulling it from Vegas.
yeah,
They're
I,
not
I
they're not
mean,
gonna have it there.
we got to continue, even if it's social distancing. We got to have our draft special. So stay tuned for that. We'll be setting it up. We'll be live with you guys.
I'm driving up there. Like, I'm not worried about it.
We'll be all right. So you heard it here first.
Yeah, I'll be at.
Watch along with us
Listen,
for the
bro,
draft.
my girlfriend's a nurse. If I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. That's
Right.
it's like there's really no way around it. I probably have it already, so I'm not worried about it.
I mean, the world's gonna be all right. We're gonna come back. We're gonna be back to normal. Sports will come back.
It'll be fine.
We won't have to watch the Ocho all the time or reruns, but
Did you not see this marble racing?
I did.
Did
I
you
watched the
peep that?
marble racing. I did. I'm not sure if you saw the
Unbelievable.
memes going around that it says, I believe it was day 6 of quarantine, and it's a guy looking out his blinds, and it says birds are fighting over worms outside. Currently, score
Oh,
is
there's the Cardinals and Blue Jays.
Cardinals 7, Blue Jays 6. Yeah,
Yeah, man, I've seen some. Listen, I've seen some pretty. I've seen. We all know the internet is undefeated, so I've seen some pretty funny memes.
word.
I have.
Now, a lot of moves. What moves do we see come draft day or just before the draft? There's still a lot of unsigned guys that are still out there. You got Griffin. You got a lot of talk about Odell getting moved out of there.
Jameis Winston.
And Njoku, the tight end from Miami that was in the Browns. Do they move him since they just signed
Ngakwe.
him? Ngakwe. Like,
Nah, coming to Philly, boy. Coming to Philly.
we got it.
I know
We
you
got
saw
a
the
lot
Reggie
of
White
lot of players out there. What happens? What's the move that you're looking forward to or hoping to see?
So this is why I love mock drafts, right? I mean, I love them to death. First one drops, I'm like a crackhead, already logging in, trying to see it.
We're
But
hitting
the
each
big-
other
the-
up constantly throughout the day. Yo, you see
Oh,
this?
without a doubt.
This is where they got this guy going.
So but this is the issue, right? Now that the you see the whole carousel of quarterbacks starting to settle down, a lot of these mock drafts are going to change. A lot of the players that they have scheduled to go to certain teams, I mean, they're just not going to go there. For example, they had a lot of people had Arizona going wide receiver. Made sense. They need another running mate besides Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald. Now, could they still go wide receiver? Sure. My guess is since they have DeAndre Hopkins, they go offensive line, try and solidify that, keep Kyler Murray upright because even though he's athletic, we just went over it with Cam Newton, and Kyler Murray can fit in Cam Newton's back pocket. So you can't have him taking those hits.
Right.
So I think they go offensive line. So it's actually I love looking at when teams start addressing their needs in free agency, how that shifts the dynamic of where they need to draft,
Right.
or even teams that miss out. You had the Chargers make a run at Brady. They make a run at Brady. They're sixth in the draft, if I'm not mistaken. They're not going for they could go for a future quarterback that high. It might even be smart to. But my guess is if you have a player like Brady come in, he's gonna say, "Who you taking with that first pick?" Say quarterback, I'm out. Like that's not gonna help me win a ring.
Right.
You know. So I'll be very interested to see. To be honest with you, I know we went over it, but these wide receivers, I'm very interested to see where they go because while they're very highly touted, you've seen a lot of teams that need that wide receiver position fill them up already. So do they still go wide receiver? Do you start to see some of these wide receivers slide in the draft? A team like the Buffalo Bills, I mean, everyone and their mother had them taking a wide receiver.
Right.
You guys trade that pick to the Vikings. That's probably one less team that other teams in the middle are going to have to worry about jumping up. You mentioned players like David Njoku, and then Yannick from the Jaguars. They're out there, they're available, and it'll be interesting to see if teams pony up and trade for them.
Right.
So I can't wait for the draft. I really can't. It's going to be fun. You got Tua. Is he going to be healthy with that hip? Is he not going to be healthy with the hip? Joe Burrow, from all accounts, is going number one. I mean, it's a great story. Cincinnati kid, Ohio kid, and now he's going to go to the Bengals. So I'm excited, man. You know me. I love the draft.
I think week before the draft, we should have a draft special, and that's all we talk about. Straight draft, 1 through 32. Give our mock drafts and where we think players are going, possible trades, all that stuff. I think we should do it.
I will say, no, listen, I'm down. You already know that. Like I do that. I'm gonna do it just for fun anyway. So it's like, okay, cool. But I had a friend I was talking to, and he was talking about this draft, and I feel like it's a very underrated draft. I know that they're talking a lot about it from just the wide receivers perspective and saying how deep that draft is, but I don't really think the everyday fan or the person that waits and doesn't really get into the draft until the week before, I think they're going to be very, very surprised at how awesome this draft in particular has a chance to be.
Right.
I think this draft has a chance to be the best overall draft in the last 10 or 15 years, and I'm not even exaggerating. And the reason why is because you have generational defensive players that you're going to need, right, in Isaiah Simmons and Chase Young. You have those two. You also have a player like Okudah, which any other year would be vying to go number one in the draft, or at least the top defensive player in the draft. But you have these two studs. And by all accounts, I mean, Isaiah Simmons could play 5 positions in the NFL if he wanted to. You really don't even know what his role could be or what you might want him to be. You could play him at linebacker. You could let him beef up and play him at defensive end if you wanted to.
Right.
So you've got the defensive players. Again, we've said it before. You've got 15 wide receivers that could be wide receiver ones. You've got a whole bunch of quarterbacks like Tua, Burrow, Herbert, Jordan Love might pop in there and do some things. And then my big thing that I want to emphasize is the offensive line in this class is ridiculous. You go through drafts sometimes, and it's been the past 5 or 6 years now where people are clamoring, where's the offensive lineman coming out in the draft? Why are none of these guys NFL ready? dude, there's some offensive linemen in this draft. You put on the
Serious.
tape and you're like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
You put on the tape and you're like, yo, they got the goods. And then you couple that in with the other things. And again, I'm not too big on, oh, this guy killed the combine, so he's gonna be it. But the athleticism that these offensive linemen showed, I mean, Mekhi Beckman, you got Tristan Wirfs from Iowa. I mean, the guy,
You got some big
his vert,
boys. Big boys.
bro, his vert matched DeAndre Hopkins at the combine. You got
Ridiculous.
multiple offensive linemen. You got multiple offensive linemen running sub fives. Their three cone drills are like ridiculous. My point is yes, you're not going to have them running a 40-yard dash, but you know what? You are going to have your offensive tackle pull on a couple plays.
Yeah.
You do want that offensive lineman to be able to block his initial man and then make it upfield and get to the linebacker and get to the you don't do that without some type of you don't do that without some athleticism. So you've got a lot of offensive linemen that I think are going to come out, and in a couple years you're going to be like, holy crap, we got like 4, 5, 6 all-pro offensive linemen in the same draft.
Same draft.
So,
it's going to be interesting to see, man.
Crazy.
Now, to close it out, we had Ryan Tannehill get the bag. We got Derrick Henry get tagged. Do you think they put the money in the wrong spot there in Tennessee?
No, I do not. Listen, I get it from a player's perspective, right? As far as Derrick Henry goes, as far as the players that were commenting it in the league, we're not dumb. We know what we watched. Derrick Henry put him on their back like the Magic School Bus and said, "Come on, kids,
Let's go.
We about to make this a deep postseason run." But how many times did he carry the ball throughout the year? What did we just get over saying about Cam Newton? Listen, Derrick Henry is an alien. If you want proof that aliens exist, look at Derrick Henry, because he is not human. Nothing about him is human. You've seen all the pictures with him and Deion Lewis, Mark Ingram. He makes him look like Space Jam, the Looney Tunes versus the Monstars. But
Right.
but dude, they're gonna run him to the ground again this year, and again they can tag him one more time, and they're gonna run him to the ground for the third year.
Yeah.
That fourth year, he's gonna start, and I hate to say it, but if he makes it to that fourth year, God bless him. He's not gonna see that giant payday. And on top of that, go look at the running backs. What just happened to Todd Gurley? 2 years ago, he was the best running back in football. He was an MVP caliber player. Bro, he got cut with the second biggest dead cap hit in NFL history behind Antonio Brown.
They said deuces.
You got David Johnson. You got Le'Veon Bell. I mean, even Ezekiel Elliott, although he had a good year, he's starting to see some minor step backs here and there. I think a lot of that has to do with the Cowboys' offensive line, obviously aging as well. But the only running back in the top 10 that's playing to their money is Saquon Barkley, and that's just because he got picked in the second pick of the draft.
Yeah.
So he was top 5 running back money off the rip. So if I'm the Titans, as shitty as it makes me look to Derrick Henry, because I know he ain't happy about it, as it looks to other players in the league, you have to take care of the premier positions. Do I believe Tannehill turned the corner? Maybe. If you look at his career early on, he wasn't a quarterback at Texas A&M to start. He was a wide receiver because Johnny Manziel was there.
Right.
He only played quarterback that 1 year. And then in Miami, A, he was injured a lot, and B, we've seen just how bad Adam Gase is. And this is if I'm a Jets fan, where I'm shitting my pants. Dude, Adam Gase sucks at getting the best out of his players.
Yeah.
If you don't believe me, go look at Kenyon Drake.
Look at everybody that got traded out of Miami last year.
Everybody.
Look where they're at.
Fitzpatrick was
Like,
really good.
everybody has been blowing up.
So if I'm the Titans, I'm giving that money to the quarterback, because if you really feel like he is a franchise quarterback, I don't believe he is,
Mm-hmm.
But they obviously do. Vrabel thinks that he is. So that's what you do, man. You pay your quarterback. You pay the premier position.
And I mean, they got a great line there.
But they did take a big loss
With Jay Conklin, yeah.
With
They still got
Conklin
Lawan.
going
They're
to
gonna have a full year of him without his four-game suspension to start it off. So, I mean, they make the engine run, man.
I'm
Let's see how it goes.
listen. You don't pay running backs. I feel bad for running backs. We've had this discussion before. I told
Yeah,
you, if I'm Saquon Barkley and I'm going into college, I am not playing running back. I'm a good
yeah,
enough athlete to be a slot wide receiver, a gadget player. You don't mean to tell me he can't do what Debo Samuels does
yeah. No, it's true, man.
for the 49ers somewhere? And guess
Yeah,
what? Debo, when it's time, he is going to get broke off because he is a playmaking wide receiver,
yeah. It's
not
true,
a
man.
playmaking running back. So if I'm a wide receiver out there, bro, and I could play any other position, my ass is up out of there because I'm not taking that beating to get no bread.
It's true, man. So, everybody, we thank you guys for listening. We are back live and in living color. We won't be gone for that long ever again. Football season's
It's on you, bro.
we'll be ramping it back up. So we will catch you guys hopefully next week, if not the week after. Tune in. Stay safe. Stay healthy. www.thesportsfrenzypodcast.com. Sports Frenzy Podcast on YouTube. Sports Frenzy Pod, Twitter. Everywhere you can find us. Download, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think. And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.